Kaylee G, real name April Rogers, a 32-year-old TikTok mom with over 700,000 followers across her platforms. But Kaylee isn't the average internet mom because she has done things that would make Mother Gothel's parenting style seem acceptable. Kaylee G turned her own daughter into content and practically inflicted generational emotional damage on her kids.
And y'all, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I wonder how Autumn be feeling, because when I read the note, I don't go to her and be like, thank you, hug her, or I be like, Autumn, I got your note.
She became one of the most talked about figures on Black TikTok, and not always for the right reasons. Kaylee sent her daughter Autumn to CPS custody while broadcasting live.
I called CPS before I went to jail. I voluntarily gave up. I'm done with it. Done.
Her boyfriend slept in her daughter's bed, and instead of leaving him, she tried to talk her way out of it on camera.
What did he do? He slept where?
He slept on top of the cover.
He slept on top of the cover, but when I went to sleep, John was in who bed? Mine's, right?
Yeah.
Kaylee would let you question a lot of things about motherhood. For instance, why would a mother admit, with a smile on her face, that she had lied about her children's school grades just to get engagement?
I lied to y'all. Y'all did what I needed y'all to do. And thank y'all, and that's it.
Kaylee is the perfect example of a strange and problematic mother, and as if that's not terrible enough, she has gone to jail more than once while her kids were home. Who is Kaylee G? Why is she on the list of the internet's most degenerate moms? Keep watching as we unravel everything you need to know about this infamous mother. April Rogers, known online as Kaylee G or KG, is a mother from Memphis, Tennessee, and the controversy surrounding her name stemmed exactly from her status of motherhood. She has 3 kids, going to 4, and her oldest daughter Autumn is one major character in her story by the time Kaylee's TikTok page had real traction. She was in an on and off relationship with a man named Johnny, real name John Feige, and known on TikTok as Johnny Bladas. The issue with John is the most recent controversy surrounding Kaylee G. Johnny entered Kaylee's life and very quickly became the dominant subject of her content. He is a barber from Chattanooga, Tennessee, with 3 baby mothers and 5 children. When Kaylee started talking about him publicly, she was open about loving him. She took him on dates that she broadcast live, and she also blended their families together. She shared stories about their time together and how he would spend on her. But shortly after, allegations about John started surfacing from Kaylee herself. She went on live and began detailing that John had been exposed years before their relationship for being on the down low, which is a term used to describe closeted men who secretly sleep with other men while presenting as straight to the women in their lives.
John was exposed 4 years ago in his city, which is Chattanooga, Tennessee. I ain't never been to Chattanooga, Tennessee a day in my life. I really never even knew Chattanooga exists until I met John. Swear to God. Don't fight me about it, but it's the truth. Defending him the whole time.
If you couldn't make out what she said in that clip, here's a brief explanation. Kaylee claimed that she did not know about his closeted self because she was from Memphis, and the situation had played out entirely in Chattanooga. She had only found evidence in the form of text messages and a photo. John had tried to convince her that he was straight, even at the expense of their relationship, but Kaylee didn't buy it.
He sent me a long text like, yeah, I wanted to work it out. I do love you. He started telling me I'm different than other females. I'm a certain caliber of a woman. But I just don't feel like it's going to work if you really believe that you believe these things about me. So he said he didn't want to do it. And I was fine with it.
Then while the drama was still unfolding, she came online to demonstrate how it happened.
Bro, I've never done anything, bro. Like, all I want to do is just be a family, bro. For real, that's it. That was him, y'all, down on their base.
Mind you, as she laid out everything on camera in front of her live audience, she was also pregnant with his child. Kaylee also revealed records of John talking to children in his TikTok inboxes.
Just go back to your inbox real quick so they can see. Hold on. Scroll on down. This a kid, bro.
The drama escalated to a point of no return when Autumn, Kayliegh's 12-year-old daughter, got caught in the mix. Just when the gay allegations were marinating, Kaylee admitted on camera that John had slept on Autumn's bed. According to her, she woke up in the middle of the night, knocked out by medication she takes, that put her out for 12 to 15 hours, and found that Johnny was no longer in her bed. To prove this point, she called Autumn on live to have her confirm this in front of the audience. Kaylee spoke about the situation and tried to minimize the gravity of it by reiterating that John had slept on the covers and had not slipped underneath it to be close to her daughter.
What did he do? He slept where?
He slept on top of the cover.
He slept on top of the cover, but when I went to sleep, John was in who bed? Mine's, right?
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, you got out of my bed and you got in my daughter's bed because he knew I was on medication. I take medication, and the medication had you sleep. It knocks you out for a good 8 to 9 hours.
But this is barely the point. A grown adult man, romantically involved with a woman, getting out of that woman's bed in the middle of the night while she is medicated and unconscious, should now go to sleep in the bedroom of her young daughter. This entire situation is all the more disturbing when you find out that he's not related to her in any way. John is not Autumn's father, and therefore had no right to slip into her bed. He later explained that Kaylee had been sleeping too wild and that was why he moved to the girl's bedroom. But again, this isn't justification for such a behavior. This is something a parent ought to call the police about, followed immediately by removing that man from the home and never allowing him back. But Kaylee's updates kept revealing other disturbing angles in the situation. Amidst this weird topic, she revealed that she sniffed her daughter's panties, not because of John, but because of parental control. And this wasn't the first time she mentioned something like this. Kaylee has repeated it time and time again in her live streams. For her, this was her way of knowing whether her daughter was sleeping around.
After I disciplined her, that's what I'm gonna say. After I disciplined her, I did make her take her off, and I smelled her sure did. That's how I know if she doing something or not, if she ain't doing.
For some reason, this is normal parental behavior to her, and she often raises the question of whether or not other mothers do the same thing. Well, different parents practice different types of parenting structures, but something of this nature is indeed strange to process, especially when it's punctured into the internet by a mother. Not to mention that this was a time where she was having a tug-of-war session with her daughter and baby daddy. There was a lot of back and forth between Kaylee and John, and Kaylee and her own daughter. In one of her live streams, this black mom claimed that Autumn liked John, and she said it as if she was accusing her own daughter of the ongoing situation.
We just gonna put it all out there. She like him. She like him. She likes him. She likes him. She's been contacting him. She's been calling him.
What kind of mother would downplay such a predatory case involving her daughter and still blame the 12-year-old for it? Kaylee said that because she believes that her daughter still gave a green light despite her warnings and the different times they had talked about it.
And she gonna be held accountable. He a grown man and he 1,001% wrong. But she knows what she doing too. Because if your mama tell you not to contact somebody and you still keep doing it, after I done said and had a long conversation with you, you know what you're doing.
She might not have meant any harm and might have spoken from a place of pain, but nothing changes the fact that this kind of sensitive topic doesn't have a place on social media. It shouldn't be shared on a platform where Autumn's friends can see and her own family can still revisit years into the future. There are people in her comments who felt the same sentiments. This was a strange topic that Kaylee should have kept private, but she made the unwise decision of putting her family's affairs on the internet like this. And the sad part is that it didn't end there. Things went even lower when Kaylee revealed separate allegations regarding her daughter and John. One of them is that she had found Johnny and Autumn together in a dark room on another occasion, and she posted a screenshot of Johnny begging for forgiveness to prove it. It read, "I love you and these kids like you all my own. It was dark because Autumn turned out the kitchen light when I was asking you how many eggs you wanted, baby. I seen her jolt to the room, and when I got 10 there, she was in the dark. Please, babe, don't ever think I would ever do anything to hurt her." And in the second allegation, she posted messages that John had allegedly sent to Autumn's friend, who's also underaged. It is assumed that John had either been communicating with Autumn through her friend's phone or had tried to keep tabs on her the same way. The messages revealed panels where John told the recipient of this number that he misses them and would ask if she was at home. There were also panels where he told Autumn's friend to ensure that Autumn calls him. Now for context, Kaylee had been arrested during this time for reasons that we'll get into shortly, and the authorities had put the kids in proper custody in her absence. To anyone watching, what John was doing might have seemed like he genuinely cared and wanted to be updated on the situation. However, it's fishy when you note some certain points. First of all, he wasn't paying attention to Kaylee but Autumn. He was only interested in finding out Autumn's living condition, and not even about her own siblings. And he acted as if he was hiding from Kaylee herself, even though she was indisposed. Secondly, and most importantly, he wasn't her real father, and his relationship with Kaylee was already rocky. So why bother with Autumn? Not to mention some of the messages he sent to this child was very fishy, like this particular one where he told her not to tell anyone about their correspondence. How is she doing? And please don't go telling people about these messages. I'm just trying to check on my people. Due to this series of behaviors, many netizens believed that John was truly drawn to Autumn. It's sickening, but relatively true. This man was sending text messages to a girl who wasn't even legal in the eyes of the law at ungodly hours. The messages only came to light when detectives revealed them to Kaylee, who later shared them on her TikTok page for all to see. John tried to do damage control by claiming that the text messages and every other screenshot that Kaylee had been sharing were created by ChatGPT. But of course, TikTok users in his comments did not buy it. When it came to addressing the Autumn situation, he tried to downplay it as well, and to make it seem like Kaylee was over-exaggerating. However, his words really sounded off for someone trying to beat the PDF file allegations. John had said something along the lines of, "Everyone's in love with Autumn."
Why she keep bringing Autumn's name up? Because she knows that that's going to spark attention because everyone's in love with Autumn. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I've seen it for myself. Like when we go into public and stuff like that, I've seen like we was in Gatlinburg and stuff like that. Like people was like, "Where's Autumn? Where's Autumn?" Like they just like that's all they asked about.
It's weird that a grown adult would highlight how much of a presence a child has in public, and it's also disturbing that he chose to say that to prove a point that everyone was drawn to Autumn. It almost feels as if he was talking about himself indirectly. The comments were quick to pick this up, and the odds were not in his favor at all. John maintained that Kaylee had only made this allegation because it was the only way she could get a response from him, and she most likely succeeded in using the narrative to target him.
Keeps using that narrative because that's the only narrative that's going to get her a response. You see what I'm saying? She using narrative is going to get her a response because people don't know who I am. People have never seen me. So if you've never seen me in your whole life, and now all of a sudden you hear somebody that you've been watching your whole life say something about somebody, you're going to believe it. That's just how it is.
But the truth is that John had gotten into a child's bed when the mother was passed out from the heavy medication. He could have chosen to sleep on the couch or the floor like a gentleman, but instead of doing that, he went to a little girl's room. And not only that, but he also constantly chatted with a minor at odd hours and for no just reasons. These are not good reports. And now that he was trying to defend himself, he had to make it seem like there was some magnetic force around Autumn that people couldn't resist, and Kaylee was trying to stir drama based on that fact. But despite everything, Kaylee did nothing to protect her child and quickly turned it into an internet drama. She talked about all of it publicly and had no way to escape him since she carries his baby. But even this factor had led to another controversy when Kaylee showed some signs that she might not be ready to be a mother to this child. When she first found out about the pregnancy, she was over the roof. Kaylee talked about it constantly on live and went to doctor's appointments on camera. However, there was a shift in her mood along the way, maybe as a result of her problems with John. Kaylee experienced mild spotting and went to the hospital thinking she might be miscarrying. Mind you, this was also shared online and it revealed a haunting side of this TikTok mom. After her checkup, Kaylee asked the doctor whether the baby still had a heartbeat, and her facial expression was so confusing and triggering when the answer was positive. Her baby was safe, but Kaylee didn't seem delighted by the news.
About 6 weeks along.
So the heart still beating.
Yeah.
Even the doctor thought that she wanted to remove the baby based on how she reacted to the news, but Kaylee waved it off like she wasn't being serious. However, it's hard to believe her when, in another live stream, she had announced that she would starve herself and stress herself to the point of miscarriage if she found out she was having a baby girl. This behavior wasn't a one-time affair. It was an extended series of statements she made, across multiple live sessions, about what she would do if the baby turned out to be a girl. She said she did not want another daughter, that the thought of having a girl made her feel like she would be miserable through the entire pregnancy, and she added that she would cry the whole time. She said this while already being the mother of 2 daughters, Autumn and Winter, who were both old enough to eventually encounter those statements on the internet or hear about them from someone at school. How would a child feel after finding out that her mother said, publicly and repeatedly, that she would have preferred not to have another one like her? Once again, Kaylee was doing something that would leave permanent and emotional scars in her kids. Her reason for saying this is that her one and only son, DJ, doesn't stress her out like her daughters do. For her, he's practically the ideal child since he's caring and doesn't get in trouble like other kids.
DJ don't give me no problems. DJ don't get in trouble at school. We don't get suspended. When I'm sick, DJ the only one come in my room, check on me, make sure I'm straight. Whole time I'm in jail, my sister was like, DJ the only one cried, said Autumn slept peacefully.
This is one of the many cases where Kaylee revealed her insensitive side as a mother. Even John wasn't exactly father of the year material, because he also has denied Kaylee's current pregnancy, as if he's not the father.
Like, is the baby gonna have your last name when she have the baby?
What baby?
Oh. Bro.
What you talking about?
This roller coaster of internet drama is basically a glimpse of what Kaylee G's TikTok history is all about. When she first started building her audience, Kaylee adopted a simple concept. She and her oldest daughter, Autumn, would do impression skits together where Autumn would pretend to be her.
Do you got $1,000? Do she got $1,000? Okay, that's what I thought. Get out my face.
But the thing about Autumn's impression of her mom was that it portrayed exactly who Kaylee G was at home, behind closed doors. She would sit on the couch with a fake blunt, take the exact posture and tone of her mother, and reenact conversations and situations pulled directly from daily life in that household. In one skit, she was on the phone pretending to be her mom talking to a friend while in the store, casually describing a shoplifting attempt at a store.
Yeah, girl, I'm in the store. You know how you don't scan some shit. I'm not scanning some shit. Here I went to, Mama, you forgot to scan this. She don't go doing.
A child pretending to steal from a store is only funny up until you realize she was there when it happened. Also, a child pretending to smoke, it's only a cute impression until you realize she grew up watching it done in her house. Not to mention that Autumn at the age of 12 was already cursing with ease and fluency. All these factors put together sends the message that Kaylee G was far from a decent, ideal mother on the internet. But still, her content didn't really look problematic for the average TikTok scroller. This is because Kaylee balanced off her content. Most of the controversial posts that had solidified her status as one of the internet's most problematic problematic mothers today were recorded from her live streams and her TikTok account. Currently, she runs another one after losing the old page mid-2025. Other than family content, Kaylee has a knack for making hair, braids, boho knots, and wig installs. She's quite good at it and often shares this talent on her channel, even though she still finds ways to surround the content around her kids. In addition, before her TikTok career took off, Kaylee had worked as a dancer, or as she called herself, a midnight ballerina. This job had paved the way to several performances in different cities, including Miami. Also, Kaylee had a history with the law as she once got into jail, and she was open about this detail on social media. You see, Kaylee stopped offering hair services to people outside her immediate household at some point, because according to her explanation, she had talked so much online about so many people that she no longer trusted strangers coming to her home. She even added that despite the image she projected online, she was not actually trying to end up back in a jail cell. This type of online reputation tells you a lot about the woman. She's rough around the edges, and she still tries to provide for her family, even though her methods are not exactly praiseworthy. For most of her internet history, Kaylee has been open about her childhood background. She did not grow up with love and affection in any reliable form. Her relationship with her own mother ended in the most damaging way possible, and this was because of her father, who came from a mixed heritage.
And people got to understand life changes people. No, I did not used to be this gangster, tough girl.
Kaylee claimed that she began to act like a white girl growing up, partly because of her father, and this created a rift between her and her mom and siblings who were blacks.
So when I was younger, I used to act like a white girl, and I think that's why my mama and like my siblings and them, they distance themselves from me, because they say I'm trying to be somebody that I'm not. And I'm not.
She explained that her mom would smack her, and this for her was more of a playful gesture than it was discipline. Then everything changed with her mother's next move. According to Kaylee, the woman who gave birth to her looked her in the face and told her she did not want her, and then she signed away her parental rights while Kaylee was watching. She described this backstory on a live stream.
She said in my face and she told me she didn't want me no more, and she signed away her rights. I swear to God, y'all. She said in my face and told me she didn't want me, and she told me she didn't love me.
From then on, Kaylee went into foster care, where she grew up without structure and care that kids her age needed. Before her life had taken such a drastic turn, she had been a completely different person. She was gentle, open, and proper.
I went to foster care, where basically I didn't have a mom, dad, no guidance or nothing, so I grew up in the streets. The streets raised me. People start to change. I'm not gonna act like the same person I was. You know what I'm saying? When I lived in the household with them, I'm a different person.
But when she got into foster care, things changed. Kaylee became rigid. In her words, the streets raised her, and that the person she became was a direct product of the circumstances her mother created.
This is what I am now because of, you know what I'm saying, the circumstances that my mother put me under. You allowed us to go to foster care. You allowed me to take this route. You allowed me to be like this.
Kaylee's mother didn't just throw her into the system. She also did the same thing to her siblings. Some relatives were merciful enough to take in some of the siblings, like her older sister. However, they wanted nothing to do with Kaylee herself, and the whole situation somewhat created the foundation of a future rift between Kaylee and her sister. Kaylee's background really did a number on her, and it's the reason why she doesn't know how to show love to her kids the proper way. In one of her most heartbreaking moments ever shared on TikTok, she revealed that Autumn would write notes about how much she loved her.
Autumn always write me like little notes, and like the last note Autumn wrote to me, she said, I know you be going through a lot, but I just want to tell you that I love you.
The words hit Kaylee like it would any mother, but since she's unfamiliar with this kind of situation, Kaylee doesn't always know how to react and would end up throwing the notes away. And from the way she describes it, she feels hurt about what kind of mother she was proving to be.
And y'all, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I wonder how Autumn be feeling, because when I read the note, I don't go to her and be like, thank you, hug her, or I be like, Autumn, I got your note. I just pile it up and throw it in the garbage, but it do be meaning something to me. I cry, like I close my door.
Many are of the opinion that she needs therapy in order to heal from the emotional inadequacies she experienced as a child. No one should subject a child to the same emotional and psychological trauma they faced when they were young, but there are some circumstances that might be beyond one's control. In Kaylee's case, she might have not realized the baggage she was carrying before having 3 kids, and understanding that they needed the love, care, and attention she never got to experience herself. Kaylee is openly proud of her daughter, Autumn. It's so serious to the point that she gushed over the fact that her daughter knew the word altercation.
So yeah, today, me and DJ, not my mama, go to y'all story time, have my mama and our auntie got into altercation. So, we gonna call
You know that word?
Yeah.
Okay.
But her parenting choices make it difficult for internet users to support her, and not just her parenting skills, but also her personal relationships. Just like we say in the Johnny Bladed saga, Kaylee's content took a dive when it shifted from lighthearted family skits to controversial daily drama broadcasts. One of her early mistakes in internet history that is usually referenced is a stunt she pulled concerning her children's education in June 2025. Kayleigh went on TikTok and told the internet that Autumn and DJ had both failed their grades and were going to be held back in school. She claimed that Autumn had been caught in between an academic crossroads where they were unsure whether she should be in 3rd or 4th grade.
Nah, the kids ain't at school because they had a mix-up on whether Autumn was gonna be back in 3rd grade or the 4th grade. So they was like they had to send some paperwork over from the behavior specialist, and then they said Lakeside.
This setting already sounds odd because Autumn is 12 years old and isn't meant to be in 3rd or 4th grade at all. In the US, the age limit for 3rd grade students is between 8 to 9 years old, and 9 to 10 years old for 4th graders. At 12 years of age, Autumn is meant to be in high school, and Kayleigh was well aware of this.
Autumn is 12 years old. No, Autumn is supposed to be in high school.
Then on the other hand, her son DJ had been failing school due to their constant moving from one place to another.
Nah, I don't fail because of a state standardized test. DJ failed because he wasn't getting it. I moved from Memphis to Miami when I had first started dancing. He failed the 2nd grade years ago when he was little.
This poor situation surrounding the two kids is appalling to anyone listening, yet Kayleigh felt it was okay to share it with the internet and further expose her family's strange living conditions. Kayleigh had moved her kids from Memphis to Florida a few months before the end of the school year, and instead of viewing the lack of stability as a potential reason for her children failing school, Kayleigh decided to push the blame to the Memphis schooling system.
He failed the 2nd grade because I moved from Memphis to Florida like 2-3 months before the end of the school year, and their curriculum in Florida is different than the curriculum in Memphis, and he wasn't able to grasp or catch on with the curriculum as the kids in Broward County did because it was hard.
She claimed that the tests that her kids had taken, especially the one for 4th graders, was not easy because her child had not gathered enough points for it.
Autumn failed the 4th grade because Memphis has this they have this stupid for 4th graders. They got some type of test, and you got to get a certain amount of points on the test.
On that note, Kayleigh maintained that she was not at fault for her children's failure. It was the school's system because it wasn't as rigorous as the ones she was familiar with in Miami.
In Miami, now they making your actually learn and work for real. And he wasn't used to that. It ain't got to do with my parenting. Nothing at all.
However, internet users in the comments didn't agree. Some claim that you can always retake the test if you failed it the first time, and even people who work in the educational system attest to this, adding that it's a standardized state test that 3rd graders need to take. I work in the school district in Memphis, and the test you're referring to is for 3rd graders, LOL. So that's not why she failed the 4th grade. It's also a standardized state test, not a Memphis thing. For those who aren't familiar with how the American school system works, a standardized state test is basically a big exam that every student in a particular grade has to take across the whole state, not just their school. It's designed to measure whether a student has actually learned what they were supposed to learn that year, and failing it has real consequences, like being held back in your grade. The specific test that Autumn was reportedly dealing with is called the TCAP, which stands for Tennessee Comprehensive Assessment Program. It's Tennessee's version of that test, and 3rd and 4th graders in the state have to pass to advance. It is not optional, and most importantly, it's not something a parent can just shrug off and blame on the school system when their child doesn't pass it. There are also retake opportunities before a student is officially held back, which made Kayleigh's excuse-making even less convincing to the people in her comments. Some, like this parent, pointed out that she's still at fault as a mother for not being more attentive to her children's needs. Yes, the students have to pass the TCAP test in 4th grade. If the student fails, they retake, fail again, then go to summer school. Parents have to make sure the kids stay on their work and learning, and definitely mom fault. Other TikTokers were on the same page, and they explained in detail that Kayleigh should have sat her children down to study in order to avoid this issue.
I don't think that state test was the reason. And I don't think that we should be blaming it on that state test because the work started at home. You supposed to, start them off, be on their butt to the point to where they gon' learn. They not in school playing because you on when they get home. You reading books with them.
Kayleigh didn't take these reprimands well and soon went on a live-streamed event. In this particular clip, she was fuming and saying that her audience should push the blame on the kid's father instead of her.
And y'all gonna stop trying to penalize me for I'm one person trying to take care of 3 kids. Go get on they daddy and get on they like why all over there just letting this girl do everything by herself.
She essentially complained that the burden of handling the kids and household was already too much for her to be bothered with schoolwork.
I can't be 50 places at one time. If I sit in the house all day with my kids, how I make money to pay the rent, pay the light bill, keep clothes, shoes on their back, food in the refrigerator, yard cut, maintenance on the car? How?
It was just a circle of netizens blaming her for not being attentive, and her kids for being slow. They also highlighted reasons why Autumn and DJ were not focused on school in the first place, which was due to their obsession with making TikToks. The posts and screen records from live streams spread across platforms, and Kaylee watched as the internet continued to tell her off for not being familiar with her children's academic needs.
She don't be making them go to school every day. Like, if they wake up in the morning and they feel like they don't want to go to school, she be like, okay, well, you ain't got to go to school then. What are you talking about? They're children. They gotta go to school. What are you talking about?
This TikToker also suggested that Kaylee gets a tutor for her kids if she's too busy to handle it.
Take your money that you say you got and hire your children some tutors so that they can get out of elementary school and middle school. Give them the proper tools they need to succeed.
A move like this would be the bare minimum for her to do, especially if Kaylee truly cared for their academic success. However, none of this advice would mean anything at the end of the day because the drama took an unexpected turn when Kaylee herself returned with a shocking update. After letting the blame train run for a while, she came back on a live stream to reveal that she had fabricated the entire story.
Okay, so like I said, I lied to y'all. Y'all did what I needed y'all to do. And thank y'all, and that's it.
And it didn't end with her flashing her children's report cards. Kaylee also told the internet to apologize to her children for how they reacted to the report that she engineered entirely on purpose.
Now y'all need to apologize to Autumn and DJ. I'll show y'all DJ report card too. But y'all need to apologize to Autumn and DJ for calling them slow. I thought y'all Autumn. Why y'all switch up on Autumn because she failed? In the blink of an eye, she repositioned herself as the reasonable party and called for accountability from the audience she had deliberately provoked. What kind of a mother would do that? Well, the answer is a mother who would use her kids to gain views on social media. The problem with this entire situation is that Autumn had already told Kaylee directly that things she posted online were reaching her at school. The little girl had told her that classmates were using Kaylee's content as material for bullying, approaching Autumn in the hallway, making comments about things they had seen on her mother's page. And Kaylee's response to learning that information was to create more content, specifically about her daughter's academic failure. She started to become a little woman and she acts just like me. She don't even like being on the internet no more. That's why y'all don't really be seeing me post her that much. When y'all started talking about her, and it ain't because of me, because the saying on the internet, I'm just trolling. I said my kids were fair if she was alive. So they don't bother. It do bother her that I lied on them. It do.
She never acknowledged her fault in the situation. She only claimed that Autumn hated getting on the internet because people had been mean to her about her failing school, and it bothered her so much. But instead of protecting her integrity, Kaylee worsened the situation by posting about her own child's worries and calling Autumn problematic for it. Kaylee had done too much that even another controversial TikTok mom named Aane had to speak up. Erica Kane, known online as Aane or EK, is a Detroit-born TikTok personality who built her following through raw, unfiltered honesty about her life. Just like Kaylee, her relationship problems were a public spectacle. It involved a lot of drama like domestic violence, cheating admissions, arguments caught on live stream, and a revolving door of breakups and reconciliations that has gone on for years. Aane isn't a stranger to chaos, and she wears that fact proudly, and this is exactly why she somehow made her way into Kaylee's business. The beef started when Aane was on live with her friend, and someone dropped Kaylee's name in the comments saying her kids had failed their grades. Aane read it out loud, her friend ran with it, and the trolling began. When the clip made its rounds and reached Kaylee, she came out swinging, calling Aane a bald eagle and telling her to stay out of her lane.
I didn't even say anything. All I said was what she said. I didn't even speak on anything.
Aane clapped back coolly, pointing out that all she did was read a comment.
Second of all, Kaylee G, nobody spoke on you had going on. The only thing I said was, oh, you heard Kaylee G kids failed? Because somebody had said it in the comments. But Kaylee G, we not beefing. I didn't speak on you. I said one little comment, and that was it.
Then from there, she called Kaylee out for using her children as clickbait.
I know. I seen the clip you said your kids fell for clickbait. If you have to use your kids failing as clickbait, then that's you. I'm not, if anything, what I'm saying about my kids is they're going to be doctors. They're going to be college graduates. I'm not saying my kids fail for clickbait. For what?
These words coming from Aane of all people landed with real weight, and these were two messy mothers who were launched into a war based on one comment section, and neither one was willing to blink first. Aane and Kayliegh would then go back and forth with their beef, with Aane pressing more buttons online. She shunned Kayliegh for being a bad mother and said that her childhood trauma wasn't an excuse for her to not do better for the sake of her kids.
You talking about your childhood wasn't the best. Mine neither. My mama ain't hug and kiss on me neither. But I'm doing that now with my kids. You're not. You've been a mom longer than me. How old are you?
The beef simmered for a while, but like the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. Despite this early beef, Kayliegh and Aane eventually became internet besties. They would get on live streams and smile and vibe with each other.
Kayliegh, one thing, let me tell you something. You aren't me. You just the real ghetto version of me, and I'm the fake ghetto version. Like, I didn't really grow up in the hood. I ain't got to fight and all this. You really that.
And it didn't end with compliments. Aane and Kayliegh had turned into sisters in the oversharing department. They consoled each other whenever they cried on live streams.
It's so complicated. But I want you to stop crying, bitch. You're a big moose. Get off this live crying. Why you want to put yourself to that?
And could openly discuss and schedule abortions on livestream. And with their beef out of the way, Kayliegh continued down on her path to controversial motherhood. Other than damaging her children's confidence by lying to the internet about their academic failure, Kayliegh had done a lot of problematic stunts. The second major controversy that Kayliegh got into was her relationship with fighting when it comes to parenting. Autumn would get into fights, and Kayliegh would report the incident on the internet. One time, it was a clash between her and two girls, and Kayliegh talked about it like it was the morning report.
Autumn got to fight with two girls at school. 2 8th graders.
Here's how the story went. There had been ongoing conflict between Autumn and a group of older girls at school, reportedly 8th graders while Autumn was in 5th grade. One of those girls who rode the same bus as Autumn had come to her with a message from the group, essentially warning her that she was going to be jumped. After learning that their child had been threatened by a group of older students, most parents would contact the school, consider changing bus routes, or speak with another parent. But Kayliegh did the unimaginable. Her response was to take Autumn to the bus stop, tell her to drop her book bag, and direct her to confront the girl, and Kayliegh recounted this incident while brimming with pride. Again, this is an area that a mother shouldn't broadcast on social media, yet Kayliegh was doing the exact opposite. When commenters told her it was a form of bad parenting, she retorted by saying that she didn't care because she was trained to always defend herself whenever she can.
I don't know, call me a bad parent, but my homeboys never taught me, this is how I was taught.
This was the foundation she was trying to lay for her children. Kayliegh always went full mother hen on people who looked like a threat to her kids, especially Autumn. Regardless of how raggedy it appears on the surface, her heart is in the right place as a mother. It's just that Kayleigh's methods are far from conventional. It became even more apparent when she encouraged Autumn after she got into a large fight at school involving 6 people. Kayliegh went on live to describe it as if she's a sports commentator. She was animated and clearly delighted with the outcome.
I had to get back up to go pick up my daughter because they say she was involved in a fight that involved 6 people. And yeah, I put it on TikTok because I know the only reason Autumn got the fight is because she Autumn and she got a name on TikTok.
Kayliegh teaches her kids that fighting is the neutral, responsible baseline. She also used the fact that 2 of Autumn's friends had helped in the fight as a teaching point. For her, these 2 friends were good ones while the others who stood back were not.
And only 2 of Autumn's friends helped her, and I told Autumn, them who your friends is. She like, my other friends just stood there watching, them ain't your friends then. The 2 that jumped in, them your friends.
The fight would eventually lead to Autumn being summoned to court after one of the children's parents pressed charges against her. The fight had resulted in one of the kids losing a tooth and another her hair, so there was a demand for legal reproach. And Kayliegh, as always, shared this news with her audience.
They're trying to give me a court date.
What's the court date?
I had to take Autumn to court. I guess they trying to press charges on her.
Kayliegh and Autumn's relationship is one of the main pillars of her internet history. There's always an issue between the pair, and it gets to a point that it's no longer looking like scripted content. It's no longer impressions of Kayliegh or dance videos. Everything changed in April 2026 when Kayliegh and Autumn had their biggest fight yet. It started on a Sunday night. Kayliegh was on live in bed when her youngest daughter, Winter, came into the room and started telling her that Autumn had snuck out of the house to go to a party.
So what time she left? How long she been gone?
Probably for 1 hour, I guess.
She been gone for an hour.
I think.
Her ass gonna be outside, I swear to God. This gonna be fun, I can't wait.
It appeared Autumn had actually been at a club and she is underage. Kayliegh had not realized Autumn was gone until Winter told her. She went to check the room, found an empty bed, and came back to the live stream. Kayliegh didn't react with immediate fear, or a sick feeling, or even have the impulse to call everyone on her phone who might know where she went. Instead, she started laughing and made comments about how this was going to be fun. And then she called the police to file a missing persons report.
You know what she was last seen wearing? Alright, you know what time she left the house?
Nope.
However, in this very call, she made a bizarre request. Instead of having the cops drop Autumn at her house, she told the dispatcher to send her to Child Protective Services.
Alright, and does she have a mental condition that would prevent her from returning home safely?
She can't come here, so you can put in a report that when she do come to my house, CPS can come and get her from my house. So I don't know what she get, but I just want to make a report that she missed.
She told the police dispatcher directly that she wanted to file the report so that she could go to bed. She was not scared or bothered in the least. Part of the reason might be that Kaylee was fed up with the attitude. In another live stream, she stated that this wasn't Autumn's first time of sneaking out, but it was the internet's first time of finding out about it, and Autumn had done a lot of things that kids her age wouldn't dare to do online.
This ain't Autumn first time sneaking out no more house. This the internet first time knowing about it.
Kaylee listed out everything Autumn had allegedly done wrong, from sneaking out to doing a body-stuffing prank, wearing her clothes without permission, and going to clubs. She put her daughter's entire history of problematic behaviors on the internet in detail. In another post she would make weeks later, she would disclose that Autumn often checks if she's asleep before she sneaks out of the window. The bottom line is that all these issues are direct proof of Kaylee's failed parenting. Her TikTok craze pushed her to expose her children, especially Autumn herself. There, on the same platform, she would reveal intimate details about her daughter. She spoke about sniffing her undies. She placed her in the middle of a conflict between her and John, her sugar daddy, and she popularized the narrative that their family would choose fights over a peaceful mediation no matter the costs. Kaylee had also revealed that she can't be soft to her daughter, who always writes notes for her, eager for affection. She cried online that she would make sure she miscarried if her next child turned out to be a girl, because her daughter had given her enough stress as it is. And now that she snuck out to go clubbing at age 12, while Kaylee was on her bed the entire time, she had chosen to hand her over to the police and CPS. This whole story might seem like a piece of fiction on the internet, but it's someone's reality out there. It's the reality that Kaylee G's family keeps facing, for views. When this particular situation played out, it didn't end the way Kaylee expected. When the police arrived at her house, they discovered an outstanding traffic warrant on Kaylee's name, and she was arrested instead. That night, she went to jail while Autumn was still somewhere out in the city. Then when Kaylee got out the next day, she got on live almost immediately, and the first thing she said was that Autumn was living with her anymore.
They got out of jail again. Autumn don't live with me no more. If that's what everybody want to know, Autumn don't stay in my house no more, dude. And that's all my kids. She don't live with me.
Then in another extended explanation, she claimed that right before her arrest, she gave her daughter up to CPS and was done with her.
So where she at? I called CPS before I went to jail. I voluntarily gave her up. I'm done with this. Done.
And then she kept going and going and going, talking about how she wasn't sad that her daughter had just been placed with Child Protective Services, and then she said that she would focus on her 2 kids, not 3, but 2, DJ and Winter. Autumn had been subtracted from the count, out loud and on camera in front of millions of people.
Move on with my life and focus on my 2 kids.
Why would a mother act like this, especially after she has shared with the internet that her own mother had given her up to foster care? She knows firsthand how being in the system messes children up, and here she was, boasting about it online. Some people believed that she was lying and doing this for content. They believed that Autumn was at home and Kaylee was pulling everyone's legs. But between the call to the police and her constant updates about Autumn being out of the house for misbehavior, it was hard to believe that Kaylee was joking around. Days after days, she continued to post about Autumn being with the CPS and even made TikTok edits about it.
I got away with it. It ain't that much no way in the world. No, you don't get away that much. No.
For her, it was a very normal and funny content, and no one could make her feel guilty about it.
Part 1 of me reading fake comments that I don't get. Let's go. Where is Autumn? Who the is? Let me block them. Cause who the is that?
One time, she said she'd love Autumn from a distance and accepted people tagging her as a bad mother.
I ain't posting no video. I changed my mind. I'm done with this. I ain't talking about it. Yeah, I love Autumn, but sometimes you gotta love people from a distance. I ain't got nothing bad to say about her. I'm still like gonna out her. I'm gonna take the backlash from her. I'm a bad mom. I'll take it.
This made netizens very furious, especially because Kaylee also talked about how Autumn calls her to cry every day now that she was in CPS custody. Again, from the way things were playing it out, it's unclear whether Kaylee was being serious. Did she just leave Autumn with CPS for a few days to teach her a lesson? Was Autumn even with CPS? Or was she being serious about the whole issue?
I want y'all to know she not coming back to my house. If y'all looking for her, y'all think this clickbait, y'all think I'm trolling, I'm not. She not coming back to my house. I love her from a distance, though.
With Kaylee, you never can tell what kind of unusual parenting style she was adopting. After all, this is a mother who sniffs her daughter's underwear. Kaylee had launched this hate train against Autumn that led some people to think she was just jealous about the John situation. She was so bitter that she made claims of her son, hating Autumn.
DJ ain't even talking to Autumn. I've been talking to DJ the whole time I'm in jail. DJ like, Mama, I don't even want her around me. DJ like he slept in the living room because he don't want to be around Autumn. The problem. Autumn the problem. Ain't nobody no problem. It's her. She the problem.
But as she had always said, DJ was the most unproblematic kid she could think of, and it's unreasonable that he would be so bitter about his own sister. And this brings us back to the question of why Kaylee was so angry with Autumn. Was it because of John, or was she mad that the situation blew up in her face before she could control it? It's possible that she had tried to pull a stunt with her calling the cops and CPS on Autumn. Perhaps she wanted more views by showing the audience how hard parenting can go for her. Through this method, she could have taught Autumn a lesson for sneaking out, while also proving to the internet that, although her methods are extreme, she still had ways of disciplining her children. Maybe this was the plan, until the cops ended up arresting her, and it's possible that the anger and annoyance she felt in that moment had clouded her sense of judgment moving forward. After the widespread second-guessing, Autumn appeared on her own TikTok story shortly after, asking people to send money for products because she needed them. She wrote, "Can someone cash at me for some food and personal items? Prayers are also appreciated." This post could be interpreted as Autumn truly being outside her mom's house. The little girl who left love notes on her mother's pillow was now asking strangers on the internet for soap. John later put his own 2 cents on the topic, saying that a responsible parent would be curious to know where their child is and would not be on the internet posting about it.
Second your child is gone, you should be out looking for your child. You shouldn't be on Facebook Live and TikTok Live trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying, trying to let people know what you're going to do when she get back. You just gotta looking for your child, because if it was my child, I've been out searching the city.
Nothing they said could faze Kaylee, though. Throughout the digital backlash, she stubbornly stood her ground and refused to change the campaign against Autumn. But this wouldn't last long, because their reconciliation happened behind the scenes, and Autumn returned in Kaylee's videos, with the first one being Kaylee's antenatal appointment. Kaylee eventually got her results from the ultrasound and discovered to her delight that she was expecting a baby boy.
Yes! 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 I'm having a boy, y'all!
When Kaylee and Autumn got back together, she updated her followers on the latest happenings. Autumn was grounded for 2 months, and this was her punishment for sneaking out to the club. She wasn't allowed to step outside, use her devices, or watch TV.
No outside, no TV, no cellular devices, no nothing. They said for how long? For 2 months.
And there was no exception in this punishment, not even for a trip she planned for the other kids to go to the water park. Kaylee said she wanted Autumn to feel it so that she would desist from trying what she did next time.
They gotta feel it. You know, 1-2 weeks, they ain't gonna feel it. They gonna be like, oh, okay, no more 1-2 weeks, I can do that. But can't no more 60 days. You gonna feel them 60 days.
It might be tough, but it's still a sign that she knows when to discipline her child despite how problematic she is as a mother. Kaylee is someone who never knows when to draw the line between personal, private, and public affairs. She treats her life like a reality show with no editing budget or filter. Everything goes in, nothing gets cut. She's openly spoken about her own brother's sexuality when it wasn't warranted at all.
Do you have brothers? I had 3 brothers, and they all gay. 2 of them are undercover gay, 1 is full-blown gay. Like, he not hiding in the closet.
2 of them were still in the closet 5 minutes before she made that post. But that's how it is with Kaylee. Everything about her life needs a place on social media. She was live streaming when the police arrested her for vandalism. And she's also shared troubling tales about how she urinates on herself due to a bad bladder.
Sometimes I do be on myself, bro. My bladder's so much bad. I do be pissing on myself sometimes. Sometimes.
That is a medical situation that most adults would take to a doctor, not a live stream. But Kaylee chose social media. Even her pranks are borderline strange, like this one where she walked around without underwear in front of her gay brother and kids, just to see their reaction. After seeing that clip, the kids are going to need therapy, the brother is going to need therapy, and honestly, anyone watching at home probably needs therapy too. Kaylee crosses boundaries with a big smile on her face, and a very proud sense of accomplishment, and she had no idea how this will affect her kids in the long run. It goes without saying that she doesn't even consider their feelings with the type of things she posts on the internet. Would a child be happy to have a mom who goes to jail frequently? That's what Kaylee subjects her family to. When she's away from misdemeanor offenses, her kids are at the mercy of the authorities, and this low moment still makes its way onto camera.
They distance themselves from me because they say I'm trying to be somebody that I'm not. And I'm not. Like, what they're not understanding is I went to foster care.
Kaylee G is a woman who has lived a hard life, and that part is not up for debate. She was given up by her own mother, raised by the streets, and entered adulthood without a single solid blueprint for what good parenting was supposed to look like. But this painful background is not a free pass, especially when a 12-year-old girl pays the price for it every single day on the internet. Because at the end of the day, Autumn didn't choose to be born into a viral household. DJ didn't sign up to have his academic struggles turned into clickbait. Winter didn't ask to grow up on a live stream. These are real children with real feelings, and every lie Kaylee told for views is going to follow those kids long after TikTok has moved on to the next drama.
We listen and we don't judge.